Hey guys, Coach Jason, hope you're doing well. So today I'm going to go over my fourth and final training program for summer base running. Okay, it's going to be incoming college seniors. If you're a coach or an athlete and you want to take a look at some off season or some summer base training, 10-week base training programs, I put them out in the description down below. Incoming high school sophes, incoming juniors, incoming seniors, and I've done college, incoming freshman, sophomore, junior, and now senior. So there'll be 7 different summer-based training programs, and you'll see progression from one year to the next as your athletes get a little bit older, a little bit more experienced, and so on. Again, there's an individualized component to things. So, you have certain athletes that respond better to high volume and some that do low volume. So you customize the training the way you want, but I generally have a ballpark, and I've tried and tested my programs on all my athletes at the high school and collegiate and even the post-collegiate levels. And I've competed and coached at all of them and tinkered with them over the last 2 decades as a coach and to come up with a good program that you can use as a template to follow or compare with what you're using now. And like I've said in my other videos, some college programs, or a lot of them, will generally give their athletes a guide to follow for the summer base training. It could be very specific, could be not. But there are a lot of colleges who don't do that. So you can use this as a guide for yourself or for your athletes. Or if you happen to give a program to your athletes now and you want something to compare it to, well, here's something that you can utilize to compare it to. And you'll see the progression. I've said this before, my mileage estimates are, my mileage recommendations are generally moderate. And the reason why is so that you can add to it if you need to. It's easier to go up than it is to have to scale back because athletes get sick or injured, okay? And my mileage general recommendations are for high school, for high school girls, 20 miles a week as freshmen, 30 a week as softs, 40 a week as juniors, and up to 50 a week as seniors. Max up to 50 a week. Generally, it'll be about 40 a week or something like that. That's the max volume. High school boys, 30 as a frosh, 40 as a soph, 50 as a junior, 60 as a senior. Again, max volume, okay? Some kids get more, some kids get less, but that's just a general number, okay? And transitioning over to college, the freshman year of college generally remains the same, in my opinion, for college. So for women, college women, 50 a week as freshmen, sophomore, 60 a week, junior, 70 a week, seniors, 80 miles a week. Again, max volume, okay? And for college men, 60 as a freshman, 70 as a sophomore, 80 as a junior, 90 as a senior. Those are general number ballpark recommendations. But again, as a coach, you can go up or down, whichever you feel is most appropriate. And there'll be components of individualization, of course. But that's the basic template and numbers. But what I'm going to do is show you how I lay things out. And before I start, if you look down below, there'll be a couple different videos. There's going to be one on how to build out your training week based on how much volume you want to run, whether it be a 6-day week or a 5-day week or a 7-day week. You see everything's detailed down for you. I have a video on that. And then I'll have a video on a 1-mile time trial, and you'll see how that's relevant later on. And then how to set the appropriate paces for your training runs and workouts based on a time trial. So everybody's training at the appropriate pace ranges for their fitness level so that they can keep progressing all along. And I will talk about that a little bit. So let's get to it. Week 1, this is college seniors, so the most experienced, the most fit. You're talking about 21, 22, 23-year-old athletes that have, up to upwards of 4 to potentially 8 years of running in their legs now. Okay, so week 1, Monday, 7 miles, Tuesday, 7, Wednesday, 7, Thursday, 7 miles, Friday, 6 miles, Saturday, 10 miles, and Sunday, 4 miles. Now, this is also provided they've taken off a couple of weeks after the season and maybe done potentially a week or 2 of very easy running. This could essentially be their first easy week as well because the mileage is not very high, 34, 44, 48 miles. So, and we're going to gradually build into the volume. So, and I have an off day scheduled every 3 weeks. You'll see the progression in off days as you get a little bit older and more experienced. The off days become less frequent because the need for them is a little bit less, but they're still necessary components to the training as well. And if you need to do an off day every week, you do it. If you need to do one every other week, you do it. I generally like an off day every 3 weeks in summer-based training because it's not as intense. Okay, you can do bigger blocks of training without taking a day off as compared to racing season. Okay, week 2. Monday, 8 miles. Tuesday, 9 miles. Wednesday, 8 miles. Thursday 9 miles, Friday 6 miles, Saturday 12 miles, Sunday 5 miles. Okay, this Saturday is going to be generally the long run, and I'm gradually building up. And essentially, the long run is going to be 20% of the weekly volume. So if your athletes are running 60 a week, it's generally going to be a 12-mile long run. If they're running 70 a week, it's 14. 80, it's 16. 90, it's 18. 50, it's 10. Okay, that's generally a ballpark number. Okay, week 3, and the 8 miles on Monday, 9 miles, and then 7 by 100-meter strides with a jog equal recovery. 10 miles Wednesday, 10 miles Thursday, 8 miles Friday, 7 and 7 by 100s afterward on with a jog equal recovery on Friday. So they're doing 100-meter strides twice per week, just a little bit of speed development again, get the legs moving. 14 miles for the long run, and Sunday's off. Okay, now keep in mind these are college seniors, so it's either going to be 80 to 90 miles per week. So the long run's going to get up to it's between 16 for the women, 18 for the men. But if you have middle distance athletes, the long run might be a little bit less. So depends on your athlete. Week 4, 8 miles Monday, 10 miles Tuesday, and then 5 by 150-meter strides, same kind of pace, just acceleration as the hundreds, the jog equal recovery. 12 miles on Wednesday, which is going to be a semi-long run. Okay, there's a second run that's kind of a semi-long run. Thursday, 10 miles. Friday, 9 miles, and then 5 by 150s afterward with a jog equal recovery. Long run of 16 on Saturday, so we're building the long run, and then we'll plateau off, and then 6 miles on Saturday. So this first 4-week block, we focus on just adding volume, getting up to the kind of optimal training volume in increments, okay? And we've added a little bit of speed development. For periodization purposes, it takes 21 to 28 days to adapt to a new training stimulus, okay? And that applies going upward and downward when you're tapering. The last thing you want to do is a drastic 1-week taper. It can throw the legs out of rhythm, so you have to be careful with that, okay? Now we're going to do 2 3-week blocks, and I'm going to incorporate a new training stimuli here, all right? Week 5, 9 miles on Monday. 10 miles on Tuesday, 6 by 150-meter uphill runs now. Just a gradual uphill, nothing crazy, focusing on keeping upright, but leaning into the hill, pumping the arms, lifting the legs, okay? This helps build leg power, which is a critical piece for middle distance runners and distance runners, particularly during the cross-country season. Jog down, recovery, go right back up, okay? They gradually get faster. They're not balls to the wall, crazy pace right now. This is just increasingly getting a little bit more, okay? 13 miles semi-long run on Wednesday, but I can go between 11 and 13, females for the males or whatever. And eventually, you can add volume, or you can break that up. 5 in the morning, 8 in the afternoon. You can break it up into doubles. I like being able to build it all in singles over the summer, since it's less intense, and then you can break things up into doubles during the season to give your athletes a little bit more recovery, since they're adding schoolwork to their running, okay? Thursday, 10 miles. Friday, 3-mile warm-up. There's some drills and strides if you need to. 18 minutes at tempo pace, okay? With a 3-minute recovery. And then 6 by 150 meters on the flat to complement the uphill ones earlier in the week with a jog equal recovery. And then a 3-mile cool down. How do you calculate the tempo pace? Generally, what I'm going for right now is whatever they ran for a 3K or 2 miles or somewhere around there, you can, generally it's about, tempo is going to be about 40 to 45 seconds slower per mile than the tempo than your 3K pace. Threshold running will be between 30 to 35 seconds per mile slower than your 3K race pace. So threshold will be about 10 seconds per mile faster. Okay, and I would use the 3K estimate right now, what they ran or equivalent, and how do you set the training pace? So whatever they ran for the 3K, or if it has to be 5K or 1500, you can convert it to the 1 mile calculator, which is down below, and it'll tell you what the equivalent 3K is to the mile and so on, and then you take a look at how to set the right training paces based on those race performances, and that way they're all running in the appropriate training zone. So it'll take a little bit of legwork, but I guarantee you're going to be thanking yourself later on for getting them in the right training paces, because it's going to save people a lot of injuries, illness, and help people progress, particularly in the back of the pack where your number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7 athletes, there's kind of a rotating. Generally, the number 1 and number 2 are somewhat consistent for the most part. They might go back and forth, but bringing those other folks up to closer to the front is going to be the ideal scenario, because you're going to close the gap from 1 to 5. And as we know in cross country, the least amount of points wins. So that's where the appropriate training paces really comes into play. Okay, so keep that in mind. 14 miles on Saturday, 6 miles on Sunday. Okay, week 6. 9 miles on Monday, 10 miles on Tuesday, 7 by 150 meter uphills. Same exact emphasis, same exact intensity and speed, just adding 1 rep. So we're adding volume to the uphills. Jog equal recovery. 13 mile semi-long run on Wednesday, 10 miles on Thursday, and now 3-mile warm-up on Friday, drills and strides, and now we're going to do 6 by 3-minute efforts with a 1-minute recovery at your threshold pace. So it's 18 minutes, it's just broken up into pieces, 6 pieces of 3 minutes each with a 1-minute recovery. So you can run about 10 seconds faster per mile than you did the tempo efforts, okay? And then on the back end, 7 by 150 meter strides for turnover, teaching you how to getting the body used to turning over when it's already fatigued, okay, to simulate the end of a longer race, okay. Jog equal recovery, 3-mile cool down. And then long run again, 16 miles on Saturday, off day on Sunday, okay. So again, every 3rd week there's an off day. Week 7, 9 miles on Monday, 10 miles on Tuesday, 5 by 200 meter uphill runs, okay. So they're getting a little bit longer, okay, but the same intensity. Let's say you're running 40 seconds or so for the uphills, just as a time estimate. Jog equal, down recovery, you come down nice and easy, you go right back up. 13 miles Wednesday, 10 miles Thursday, so it's a consistent 2 recovery days in between the hills and the harder effort of the week. Friday, 3 miles, drills and strides as needed, a 21-minute tempo at the same exact pace as the 18-minute tempo. We're just adding 3 minutes to it, okay? 3-minute recovery, active recovery at the end of the tempo, and then 5 by 200s on the flats. You can go from about 3K pace down to mile pace based on your current fitness, okay? With a jog equal recovery, 3-mile cool down, all right? 18-mile long runs, we bumped it up, or 16 miles. Saturday, easy 6 miles on Sunday. And again, tinker with the volume as you see fit, okay? So this second cycle, we've added some hill running, okay? So got a little bit more aggressive with the speed development now. And then we've added a somewhat of a quality day to kind of transition you into the harder training later on. That nothing that's too intense, it's slower and shorter than your races, but it's a good way of preparing you for the next phase of training right before the season starts without taxing you, getting you fitter without beating you up, so you're not doing hard mile repeats, hard 400s and things like that. You don't need to right now. Okay, speed development component will be there, and the aerobic component will help make it a well-balanced training, so that not only do the middle distance runners get a good training stimuli for their strengths, so do the distance runners. Okay. Week 8, 9 miles on Monday. Tuesday, 10 miles, 6 by 200 meter uphills now. We added 1 to the uphill, okay? Same exact intensity as the uphills and 150s, okay? 13 miles Wednesday, 10 miles Thursday. Friday, 3-mile warm-up, drill strides, 4 by 6 minute efforts now with a 1-minute recovery at the threshold pace, okay? You can do 6 by 4 minutes if you want, since the last time it was 3 minutes, but I generally kind of flipped it around and doubled the length, but it's still going to be 3 minutes more, 24 minutes total. You can do 6 by 4 minutes or 4 by 6 minutes. I like to test the 6-minute efforts to see how well your athletes are responding to it. So it'll give you a lot of data. Okay, 1-minute recovery and at threshold pace, which is the same exact pace as the 3-minute efforts. Okay, and then 5 by 200 meter efforts, flat, jog equal recovery, 3K down to mile pace. Okay, and then a 3-mile cool down. 16 miles on Saturday, 6 miles on Sunday. Week 9, 9 miles on Monday, 10 miles, and then 7 by 200 meter uphill run. So we added 1 of the 200s to the uphill component. Okay, jog equal recovery, good leg power development every week, consistent. 13 on Wednesday, 10 on Thursday. Friday, 3-mile warm-up drills and strides, now a 24-minute tempo. Okay, so we went from 18 to 21 to 24. We have 24 minutes of threshold running, then we have 24 minutes of tempo running. Okay, so add 3 minutes every time at the same exact pace as the other tempos. Take a 3-minute recovery. Okay, 6 by 150 meter efforts at a jog equal. 3K down to mile pace is fine, and then a 3-mile cool down. 18 miles on Saturday, off on Sunday. I'll make one point before I go to week 10. With these tempos, if you have middle distance runners who are not responding to that long or aren't able to yet complete that, you can break it up into 2 pieces. You can do 2 by 9 minutes, 2 by 10.5 minutes, 2 by 12 minutes to break it up if you need to with a 3-minute recovery in between. If it's more suitable for certain athletes, you can do that. They're still getting the same amount of effort in the tempo pace. It'll kind of simulate like 2 by 2 mile or 2 by 1.5 mile. Okay, it'll accomplish virtually the same objective. It'll giving them a recovery if they need it. But the goal is to do it consecutively if possible. All right. Now, week 10, 9 miles on Monday, 10 miles on Tuesday, 5 by 100 meter uphill, and then 5 by 100 meter flat, all with an equal jog recovery. 12 miles on Wednesday, cut it back a little bit. 6 miles on Thursday, cut that back just a little bit. Okay. Now, Friday's a key day. The reason why I had you kind of determine your training paces for your athletes before is so that they can train and progress properly so that they are ready for this day. Okay. And this day is something I encourage folks to do is you're going to run 3 by 200 meter efforts at your threshold pace, okay, after warming up in drills and strides with a jog equal recovery. So you do 200 at threshold, jog, 200, just to kind of get the heart rate up and the legs moving and turning over a little bit. And then we're going to do either a 1 mile to a 3 kilometer time trial. 1 mile is generally, it could be for the middle distance athletes, but if you really want to test some of your distance runners, you can. But since the races are longer in college, I like to incorporate the 3K option as well for a time trial to see how well they're responding to the longer effort right now. If this, it'll give you an idea how aerobically fit they are. So it's up to you as to what you want to do. You want to do a 1 mile for some of the middle distance folks, or for some of your male athletes, or for your female athletes since they're running 6K. You want to do 3K for the senior men because they're going 8K and 10K. It's completely up to you, but it'll help you determine by whatever they run, and I encourage you, take splits for whatever they do. See who runs evenly, see who gets faster, see who gets slower. It'll tell you a lot, too, about any modifications you might need to make in training. Okay? And based on what they run, you go back and you take a look at that video again, and you'll be able to set the right training paces for them leading into the season. So you'll know what everybody's training paces without having to kind of wing it. Okay? So it'll give you a lot of information. And this is a good way to test them before preseason or before the season starts without kind of taxing them too much, okay? 18-mile long run or 16 on Saturday, 4 miles easy on Sunday. So here's a 10-week summer training program for incoming college seniors. Again, the volume is what you want to do it, how you want to set it up. But I like to do everything and build it as possible, or as much as possible in singles, so that you can transition to doubles, particularly, and the reason why I have easy days on Mondays is because when you add the school component to it, Monday's usually a tough day for college students, especially, it could be a lot of classes or tests and things to study for, and then have to go to practice. I generally like to give them an easy day Monday to kind of help them ease into the week, and then give them either a Tuesday, Friday workout or a Tuesday workout, Saturday race, depending on how you like to do it. But that's why I always have a consistent easy day on Monday, no matter what, for everybody at every level. But I know in some cases, sometimes a Monday workout is required, or just a better fit for everybody, and I get it. But that's my logic behind it. So I hope this was informative. If it was helpful, please click the thumbs up. And if you're a coach and an athlete, or an athlete, and you want to just see a lot of detailed training, hit that subscribe button and hit the notification next to it. You're not going to want to miss the videos that I'm going to be putting out, but you want to miss the 5 or 6 dozen videos that I've put out already. And I've got detailed training programs from 5K all the way up to the marathon for all different levels, beginner to advanced to sub-elite to elite. Okay, and I also have workouts galore, workouts better workouts to do in bad weather, speed development for distance runners, injury prevention, the best stretching routine, hill running, all different types of things. Workouts for certain levels. This is what you need to do to break 15 for 5K or break 18 for 5K, so on. Everything is on this channel, okay, in detail. And every program I put out is fully detailed and explained. So there's no guessing game. But if you do have questions, put them in the comments down below. I'm happy to answer them. And in the meantime, be healthy. Let's look out for each other, okay? Train smart, because we never really know when they're going to say the races are going to begin. But you can be ready or not ready, and I'd much rather you be ready, which is why I'm doing these videos as well. So have a good week, and be safe and healthy, and I will talk to you soon.